We've got Herman Moore coming up right now. Let's put this together. Let's get Herman in and do the things that we love to do. Let's get going here.
We should ask Herman for a Bill story.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Herman Moore. Herman, are you with us, my man?
I am.
There we go.
How's it going?
Great.
Right.
How are you? How's life?
Hey, everything is well.
Let's really first shout out Lions Nation Unite. You got a great group of people over there. You got together a lot of really, really great content. This little brainchild of yours is really coming together. It's something special. I just wanted to congratulate you right off the top. That's some really, really good work there.
No, thank you very much. Very excited about having the opportunity to, again, have those touch points with the fans and those that have supported myself and the Lions throughout my career, and also being here in Michigan. But also, I want to thank you again, Chris, you guys and Jeff, you guys have done a great job of also pushing us and supporting us. And thank you for all the great things that you do outside of your normal lives to help others as well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. I wear the shirt that has the QR code on the back to the gym, and I have had a couple people scan it. So that was a really good idea by y'all.
Thank you.
Really quick, I just have to hit the link, stjude.org/DLP. Get in there. We're looking to get some good stuff done here. If we get to 25,000, we're shooting by 3 o'clock. Someone you know really well, Herman, Micro Mike, is actually going to show up at Jeff's house and smash a pie in his face.
He lives about a mile away, so we've known each other for a very long time. So I'm kind of looking forward. I don't know. He's a great dude, though.
He is.
Yeah. So just had Bill Keenist on. I know you know Bill very well. Do you have any Bill Keenist stories that you want to share?
No,
he's got stories about everybody.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any major stories about Bill. Just got to know him, got to know his family over the years, and his time that he was with the Lions. And he's one of those guys that he knows everything. He knows everyone, and for the most part, I'm the thing I'm most envious about when it comes to Bill Keenist is that somehow he finds a way to always be in the picture. if you look at Bill, he's probably the only person who could say, you know what, I have a picture with every significant coach that has ever been there for the Detroit Lions, and pretty much any player. I mean, media doesn't even have that. I know he's the guy that holds the keys, but Bill has a knack for finding a way to end up on every sports cast, on every highlight, on every coach's everything. And so, yeah, he's that guy.
He's got more time on NFL films than anybody else at the Lions. I swear to God, for sure. And the guy that's stepped into the role, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, Dan Skipper this year seems to be popping up in every single shot all the time. It's hilarious. Who are these guys and how do they do that? You've been doing a lot of coverage on the Lions this year and this year's team, Herman, and you've seen we had you on last year with Lomas and Wayne. It was for us still. I watched that. It's something special. That watching you guys come together and the stories, was the camaraderie still being there. It was really, really great. But I want to look kind of, where do you see the parallels with this team, and where do you see the things that diverge? And I'd kind of like to get your kind of thoughts on where they're going. Is this the right direction where the Lions are heading with this coaching staff and Brad Holmes at the helm?
I think there's an easy way to say that they are moving in the right direction. When you can draft players like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you can pick up young players later in the draft that they're on draft boards, but they were looked at being value and or development players, and you bring them along so quickly into getting them to become starters. So think about this. A lot of these young players that they have that are draft picks that were selected later in the draft, typically that's reserved for the starting role for your first rounders and your second rounders. When you can take third and fourth rounders and free agents and you convert them into meaningful playing time and contribution to your team, now you're doing something to accelerate the growth path. So saying that they're on the right path and the right trajectory as a team would be an understatement, because that's what it's all about, building a great core unit of players. And then look at the youth that they have that they're doing it with. So I'm super excited. about what's happening right now in Detroit. I know it's taken a lot of turns and things in the road to really get there, but for the fan base, I think you got to be pretty excited about what you're seeing right now, regardless of what happens. I mean, do I think they're going to win a Super Bowl this year? No. But do I think that they've made tremendous strides? I know that comes as a surprise to everyone that's on here. But I think when you look at where they are and where they're going, there's a lot of parallel you can have in seeing that you have to develop talent. You got to have players who can compete mano a mano against your opponent. And with that, that's what they've developed here.
Yeah, it's fun. So I want to talk to you about one of the players who plays your position. Your early thoughts on what you've seen from Jameson Williams. I know we didn't see much of him last week, but you're around the guys. You know the coaching staff. You know the team very well. Where are you at on how Jamo's coming along and how high his ceiling might be?
When I look at him and I've watched how they brought him along, you're having to be. It's a delicate process because he's a first round pick. You traded up to get him, and you want to make sure that he gets his career off to a great start. Because of where they are and because of the acceleration that's happened in the receiving core, I think that helps the process for him. He's not needed immediately. As he goes deeper down the line and the next few games, if he's able to get some meaningful time in, he knows the playbook because he's there. He's in all the meetings, so he's not behind in that sense. But, the first game, I look at it just like he saw it. You evaluate it, you get your legs up under you, you get in, you get some routes, you get the contact. And, they threw him up pass and they targeted him on one, and he got forced a little bit wide and towards the sideline, which is, definite no. But it's one of those things that gives him film to go back and look at and say, you know what, I know now not to do that. I know not to have that happen. I know the coaches are letting them know that as well. But he's going to be an exciting player if things, shape out what we've seen so far. We've seen how they've been able to get talent ready. And this is someone they actually picked as a starter. So now it's going to be exciting to see once they get him going, what that impact will be.
Kind of relate that to yourself, because you started your first year. You were a little bit limited early as well. Do you think that's kind of what helped you become the incredible player that you became in the NFL? That kind of opportunity to kind of get your legs under you when you started?
Yeah, I was forced into a position, even as a first round pick, that came in. I did tremendously well in the spring camp and the rookie camp, coming into the preseason. Just had some struggles in the preseason that I think made them have pause in putting me in the regular season, because we had Willie Green, who was a veteran. We had Robert Clark, Aubrey Matthews, and then we eventually traded and got Brett Perriman.
Yeah.
So it was a very similar scenario that you see. The only difference is I wasn't injured, and I had an opportunity to just kind of watch and learn. But I was practicing, and then when the opportunities came, I made the most of it, and it showed when we hit the playoffs that I was game ready. Yeah. And from then the rest was history. So I see some parallel. I see some similarities. The only difference is that they are playing with a lot of young players who are having to earn their way, learn their way, whereas we had some veterans who were we're trying to continue to move the ball along the lines, and that's why we had so much success in '91.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Riz. That was a fun team, man. That was so good. I still miss watching you guys. You guys were so much fun. Do you get the sense like you guys were tight? We saw it last year when you and Lois were on with Coach.
Uh-oh. Riz is breaking up.
Do you get the sense?
All right. There you are, Riz. You're back. Okay.
All right. Repeat that for me one more time, Jeff.
Okay. Yeah. Just like, yeah, sure. The camaraderie that you guys had, do you see that building with this team? A bunch of young guys coming together, with Goff being a veteran. And so just the culture that you guys had, do you get that sense that that's going on with this team?
It's similar, but it's different. Different in that we had a lot of veteran players. I had Jerry Ball, Lomas Brown, Kevin Glover. You had, seasoned guys, Rodney Peete, Eric Kramer. So they've been with the team for some years. You got Barry Sanders. You got some really solidified places. You don't have Wayne Fontes is somewhat, a new coach, but at the same time, there was a lot of expectations coming into it. And we were running in parallel with the Dallas Cowboys, who went, I think, 1-15. I think one of the years after that or something like that, but then eventually became Super Bowl champions. But I will say this, you got to have a good balance, a good mix. Unfortunately, they have to put it together a little differently in this day and age than what we had to work with back then. The way in which players move from team to team and the way you're picking up free agents and the money that you can expense and put out there is a little bit different. But I will say this, they have the potential and they have the foundation that is there. It's a matter now, will the team and the organization stick with it and not let the fans or the public opinion, sometimes when things are going a certain way, influence what they do or what they decide to do with this team, versus looking truly at the anatomy, looking at the interior workings and the chemistry and the camaraderie that you're mentioning, and seeing that is your foundation. And right now, you're going to have to let this team stay together for some time, and also draft right, which Brad Holmes has done. Continue to develop talent and continue to keep control of your locker room. You do those things, you have a chance, and we see that with this young team.
Yep. I want to ask you something about your playing time, because it came up a little bit with Bill. And it just throws me back because I loved it. It was, as a fan, I loved watching the run and shoot offense. And the Lions run and shoot was just so exciting, right? You played in the run and shoot for a while and then went away from the run and shoot. As a player, how much did you enjoy the run and shoot versus what you played later on in your career? Was one more fun than the other? Was one more challenging than the other? Where's your head at on that?
Well, I'm going to be honest. This is the first time I've ever commented on this, and I think this is good. And this is why people should make donations and give more money, because we're giving out the goods here only. So
thank you, Herman.
And it's for such a great cause. So with this, I absolutely did not like the run and shoot. I hated it only because it was really predicated on really short routes. And it was 3-step rollouts. It was getting the ball out early. And then if teams go man-to-man coverage, they forced you into having to convert your route all the time. So you never really had play development.
Sure.
And the other part with run and shoot is that you had to have a very specific type and particular type of quarterback that was playing in that system. So when we started to go more tradition, go more 3-receiver set, and they realized, okay, Herman's a true Z receiver. And he can also play slot. He doesn't have to be this quick, short Richard Johnson replacement guy or Aubrey Matthew replacement guy at 5'8", 5'9" in the slot, which was just it just did not give me an opportunity to work.
Right.
And so it was not one that I liked. I'm glad we got rid of it when Dave Levy took over and he started to go more traditional and spread. That was better. And then once we had Coach Henning and then Tom Moore came in and really just took us over the top, and it was always fun to watch him. If people talk about offensive coordinators, I want you to go back and look at Tom Moore and look at what he did everywhere he went. He took the exact same system because it was predicated on the talent of the players, even though people knew what he was going to do. When Peyton Manning called Omaha, he called forget about all that. We knew what the play was. When he went out to Arizona, we knew what that play was. And I knew teams were not going to be able to stop it because it was so brilliant. He is one of the offensive coordinators that people don't talk about as much, but I'm telling you, the man was a genius. And if you look at every team he's gone to, you can find that you can find that 100+ catch receiver. You can find that definitive number A1, A2, and then that number 2 guy, and they all had success. Every single place he went, and he always had that Barry Sanders type running back in the backfield. And the man was brilliant. I loved it. And I will say this. Hey, Chris, I have to say this. So I was listening to this interview with you and Bill Keenist, and it reminded me of one part that was in my career. And he was recalling different things that had happened and he had seen throughout his career. And I think you guys got to the segment on me. And again, I'm giving out these nuggets. You got to continue to donate. You got to continue to help out St. Jude. You got to continue to support, because I'm giving you what you cannot get with the Lions. You cannot get this, what I'm giving you in the newspaper. You can't get it anywhere except here and only today. So here it is. So we talked about, a lot of people talked about when we were playing Chicago, we had an opportunity to go to playoffs. And there was this one pass that was thrown to me in the Silverdome on the right corner. I think man coverage. I beat the corner, and I ended up dropping the pass. This was like, I never dropped passes like that. And the interesting part was I truly never really saw the ball. And as it went through my hands, it got lost in the lights. It came down and completely, if you go back and look, never touched it. It hit my knees before it hit my hands, right? And when they showed me in the paper, I'm still looking up and the ball is down in the ground, near the ground. And I'm going, obviously I lost it in the lights, and everyone's like, oh, it was like he lost the game. I'm like, okay, that was like the third play of the game, and I lost the game on the third play. What about these? I mean, but I'll be the fall guy. But I want the fans to understand this. Yes, it was a rare drop. Yes, it was a big drop, but it did not cost us the game. Plus, there was a safety. He said I would outrun him. So unless I'm running a 4-1, I was not going to outrun that safety unless he missed the tackle. So I just wanted to say that. I want to clear that up, because of all the things that happened in my career, that's like the one thing that people go, oh, that pass was the one that lost. It was the first few minutes of the game. No, did not lose the game.
Herman, you made so many great catches. One quick thing. Hall of Fame voting comes up. You got snubbed again. You should have been my finalist for this. There's a lot of great receivers that are up for it, that I know that you respect them. But is that something that you think will ever happen for you, to at least get to even be a semifinalist, or are you gonna just wind up in the Veterans Committee and getting inducted like 2050 or something like that?
Yeah, well, I think they're gonna bring it while I'm, I don't know. They're going to bring it to me in some odd time or place, or I'm going to be away and have to accept it by satellite. Because I'm telling you, I look at and it gets to a point where I wasn't too concerned about it in the past, but you know what? This is a game we play. You only get to do it. You're only blessed to play this one time. And there's a legacy that you want to close in a chapter of your life. Yes, I would love to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Do I think I deserve it? Yes. When you base it on criteria of what is necessary to get there based on your era and the time in which you played, it's more than just statistics. You know, if they're saying the statistics, then it's going to eliminate some people that they have on the ballot. If it's about all pro, then they're going to eliminate a lot of people on the ballot that's on there before me. And yet I don't understand the how and the why. But I take it as it comes. I just stay blessed that I'm loved here, and that I'm respected here for what things I did with Detroit. Hopefully the Hall of Fame will figure that out and realize that at least I should be on the ballot versus not at all. And then when you look at comparing numbers to numbers with myself and the other receivers, it's just a complete snub. I mean, that's, again, another nugget. I'm telling you, as a complete snub. Yes, Herman Moore's not happy about it, and he believes he should be on the Hall of Fame ballot. But only here have I said that, and I'm saying it with true and pure honesty. And just,
and you're right, Herman. You deserve to be
100%.
on there. You know, like, I don't know if you would get in. I mean, like Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, those guys were spectacular, but you were there too, man. And you
Right there.
always beat the drum for you that you should at least be on the semifinalist ballot. The fact that you didn't make it there is kind of sad. Jason Hansen too, for that matter. But y'all have pretty strong cases.
And
yes.
We talk about this, and this is one of the things. I mean, we started the day with it, and we talk about the character of the players. And there's so many high character people that have played for the Detroit Lions. You know, Herman, he's not from Detroit. He didn't grow up here. He played here. That's when you came to Detroit, right, Herman? You weren't here before your playing days, and
right.
he stayed. He stayed. He lives, breathes, and does everything. His family in the community. Herman is a Detroit guy now. It's more than just he came here and played and went. And, I'm not knocking on when I say this. He didn't move to LA. He didn't go somewhere. He stayed and lit, and he's a part of the community in the city of Detroit. And you see him. I mean, Facebook's a place to see him. He's out there at events. He's doing stuff for people all the time, helping out people who need it. I mean, Herman, your character, your as a human being is just over the top, just incredible. And just on that alone, that Hall of Fame piece. But I mean, your play, I absolutely believe one day we're going to see in there, and stay mad, because that's going to let them know we get you over there. We can get you there, man.
Definitely. I appreciate it. Now, I know they give me the free pass to go and tour Canton, but I mean, I want to come and tour and be able to tell my kids and tell my family and my friends, you know, that I ended up here and I did some things that were right. So yeah, I'll use that pass when I have a real good reason.
That's right. I want my picture next to my bust. All right, Herman, I know we're at time. I appreciate you, man. Again, lionsnationunite.com. Check it out. The app, the whole thing. Herman's a great part of the community. Always support him.
Really
anything you see him do, anything you see him taking part of, get in there and help support. Herman is a really, really great man beyond being a great Detroit Lion and a great football player. Herman, I appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's participating and donating. Thank you for having blessed hearts to help others in this time. So thank you all very much.
Awesome. All right, Herman Moore, ladies and gentlemen, star of Detroit.
Yeah, introduction. We all know how awesome Herman is.
Yeah.
And I will always beat the drum for Herman to be in the Hall of Fame. He belongs there.
Absolutely, 110%.